Hi, my name is Chris and welcome to the Battlefield report for the 8th of March 2015, where we'll talk about news from the Battlefield franchise with a strong focus on what is happening in the Battlefield 4 community test environment. So a few days ago I released a video in which I explained the netcode changes that DICE added to the CTE. And in that video I showed you that when you change your stance, then your player model needs more time to reach the crouch position when you aim down sight than when you are in hipfire. Now, DICE took action against this very quickly and released a new patch for it in the CTE on Friday, which fixes this mismatch for the length of these animations. So when I play both animations side by side, then we can see that this change works pretty good. But the animation that is used when you aim down sight has one slight hiccup close before it ends. When we play it in slow motion, then you can see that at some point it starts to get up again, before it goes down to the final crouch state. But fixing that small glitch should be possible so that the transition between standing and crouch becomes as smooth as it is when you don't aim down sight. And now I have very good news for console players, at least for those of you who own an Xbox One, because with the spring patch you will also get access to the network performance overlay that we have on the PC for quite a long time now. Once the spring patch gets released, you just have to go to the advanced gameplay menu, scroll down to the end of the list where the network options are located, and then you can enable the network performance overlay, which is a really awesome tool to troubleshoot your internet connection, to find out if you are suffering from big latency spikes or packet loss. It is much more powerful than the performance test because you get real-time data, rather than the results of just one single test run. If you want to find out what all these values in that overlay mean, then you should watch the video that I made for it a while ago. The link is in the description. So, while it is awesome that this feature is coming to the Xbox One, what about the PlayStation 4? Well, if we take a look at the tweet from JJJU, then we find out that Microsoft had to give DICE a green light to include this overlay. And this means that Sony has to do the same, which by the looks of it they haven't done yet. This might also indirectly confirm the rumors that the reason for the missing ping values in the scoreboard of the Battlefield 4 console versions is that Sony and Microsoft do not allow that. At least I don't know why else DICE would not show them on the console. The test range also received some love recently in the CTE. On this small island in the lower left we now get access to the vehicles that were added with the DLCs, like the hover tank and the snowmobile. The missing gadgets and pickup weapons like the railgun have also been added, but there is a catch with that specific gun. You can use it just fine on the test range, but due to limitations that we don't know any specifics about, it will not do the same damage like it does when you actually use it on one of the final stand maps. And according to the developers, there's sadly no way around this behavior in the test range, so we won't get that fixed. The popper targets also received some changes. They now have 100 health like an actual player has. This means that if you need 4 shots to kill another player, then you also need 4 shots to kill the popper target, which makes testing weapons and doing target practice on the test range much more useful. We also have hit markers for the popper targets, but you will not get the headshot and kill shot head markers, at least not at the moment. A small side effect of the head-up customization rework was that when you change the miscellaneous option to 0%, then this also caused the weapon statistics window to disappear in the loadout menu. This has been fixed in the CTE. You probably know that you can make the entire HUD with all the triangles and icons disappear by using the console command UI.drawEnable0. This is great for making screenshots and cinematics. In the CTE this command has been disabled by the developers when the final stand DLC testing started, and just recently it has been enabled again. So if you join the CTE server and use that command, then it will work as expected. But if you try to spectate on a server, then it will freeze the entire image. So if you plan on recording some cinematics in the CTE, then you should know that this command is currently not working, and hopefully it will be fixed soon. Infiltration of Shanghai, the night version of Siege of Shanghai, has reached a point where it appears to be pretty close to a state that can be considered final. So on Friday, DICE released the first night versions of 2 more additional Battlefield vanilla maps, Golmud Railway and Severed 311. These night versions do not have a name yet, so if you want to suggest a name, then you should head over to the CTE subreddit and do it there. The link is in the description. So I played a few rounds of each of these maps and I was surprised by how many light sources are already destructible and actually remove the illumination. You can create some very dark areas by destroying the lights, especially inside the buildings. Vehicles and the placement of the control points has not been touched yet, but just like with the Infiltration of Shanghai development, we can expect to see some adjustments very soon. What is also very nice is that vehicles now have headlights and they are not just gimmicks, they actually work. Currently we cannot destroy them or turn them off, but I do hope that we do get the ability to turn the lights off just like we can with the tech lights on our guns, because this would be really great for stealth gameplay. Or maybe they can make it so that we can go from low beam to high beam to off, where high beam blinds the enemy players or something like that. What I also hope is that DICE soon starts the rework of the spotting mechanic, because if you play on one of the servers in the CTE that does not have the classic preset, then you can see how bad the current 3D spotting is for the night maps. So I've spent about 2 hours or so on these new maps, and I can only recommend that you also give it a shot. It's really a lot of fun to play in the dark, and it brings a whole new and fresh experience to Battlefield 4. And if you have any feedback that you want to share with the designers, then you should head over to the CTE subreddit and post it there. What we also learned this week is that the weapons in Battlefield 4 will be rebalanced, and Undead Pixels wants to get your feedback before they start with their work. Now, my wishes are, without going too much into detail. Number 1, more recoil for all weapons, especially the LMGs. Hardline has a nice amount of recoil, which could be used as a reference point, but for Battlefield 4 the weapons should have even more recoil. Then I'd like to see the game to reward headshots more, and I don't mean that you get more points. What I mean is that it has to take less bullets to kill when you hit a player in the head. So hits to the head should require less bullets to kill, and since I mentioned the BTK or bullets to kill, I'd also like to see a clear difference in the BTK between chest and legs. Because right now you need pretty much the same amount of bullets to kill a player by hitting him in the legs as when you hit him in the chest. So these are the changes that I would like to have the developers to do, and I already posted them in the Battlefield 4 CTE subreddit. Let them know what changes you would like to get. And the last topic of this video is that the premium calendar will not get extended, so there won't be any new entries added to it for 2015. Now, before you head over to the Battlelog forums and Twitter and start a shitstorm there, we should think about what this means. We know that the community map project will be free for everyone on all platforms, so this is not premium exclusive and would not go into the premium calendar. We also know that there are at least 3 night versions of vanilla maps, which I'm sure of will be free for everyone, so these would also not go into the premium calendar. Then there's more content that we will get in 2015 which has not been announced yet, so none of this content will be added to the premium calendar. And this means that it is not premium exclusive. Now, when we look at the absolutely nonsensical deluxe edition and premium bonuses of Hardline, like that you pay $10 for exclusive access to 3 Battlefield 4 weapons, and competitive play support is a premium exclusive feature, then you could come to the conclusion that not adding the additional Battlefield 4 content to the premium calendar means that EA wants us to pay money for it. This is a sound theory, however, I think that not adding it to the premium calendar is telling us that all the additional content will be free for everyone. Because that is how you can keep the community alive and play Battlefield 4. This could even increase the player count again, as players who stopped playing Battlefield 4 might come back to play that new content. Also, the amount of servers could increase again, which means that EA earns more money from these servers as they get a fee for every ranked server slot. Now, this is just my theory, but when I look at everything that we know about this additional content, then I have a very good feeling about this. So a lot is happening in the community test environment, and the question is when these changes will find their way to the retail version of Battlefield 4. The developers talk about the spring patch, but we don't know when this one will happen. I hope that they aim for a release in May, which hopefully gives them enough time to finish the night maps, the netcode improvements for taking damage around cover, and those weapon changes would also be quite nice to have. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris, and this was Battle Nonsense.